What's up, guys? Happy back to the median day. Nice, it was a pretty decent day. All in all, pretty happy with how the day went. Very bummed I missed the afternoon, to be honest with you. Kind of frustrating as I missed this because I had stuff to do outside of here and it really tagged me. Not because I didn't make money, but because it could have been a much better day. Sorry if I wasn't around to call some of this stuff out. For sure, it could have been a whole lot better. Let's see. We are going to do what we have been doing the last couple of nights. I'm going to take a look at my sorry, just pushing this over. Take a look at the charts today, take a look at what we called out. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I hit or miss on these calls based on just how I read them and how I put them. Throw it up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Because I'd be interested to know kind of your breakdown on it. If you think this was, these different names was good, was helpful, was not. Just on general levels and be like, yeah, I would call that a win on a call out for you, or I would call that a loss. Like, nah, you didn't call that one right. To me, that'd be interesting to see what you guys think. So let me know. With that being said, I'm Gator. Let's start our evening review. There we go. Now remember, guys, this is all for education purposes only. It is the only reason. This is for entertainment and education. So let's take a look. All right, so we started with a big gap up, relatively speaking, and well, it was a big gap up. And if you remember some of the past videos, I've talked about price expansion and contraction. I'm generally speaking, when we're contracted, I'm looking for expansion. When we're expanded, I'm looking for contraction. That's based on daily ATR and movement away from moving averages like the 21 and 200. So I'm looking at that at the beginning of the day to kind of help me determine what's going to happen. We had a big gap up, and I thought, well, just looking at things, there's a good chance you could get a long early. We have this stuff. We have a big gap up. I would expect about a leg up, and then I think things could roll over. But we'll see. You just never know after FOMC if we're going to rip or not. So my comments today, put up forever in Discord. Started off with, let's see how the market takes the FOMC news. I think we could get some follow through to the upside. I'll be watching, waiting for the charts to tell me what to do. My feeling is out the gate, we might fake a breakout, then come in and then go. So that we would fake a breakout, put a leg up, come in, and then possibly rip later in the day. Instead, we actually rolled over. So partially on, partially right there. I'd give slightly wrong on that one, but at least pushed a little bit of an up move early was what I was looking for out the gate. And I actually started off being long in a couple of names. So first one, Apple. Y'all talked about this last night. There were a few questions, so I watched it and decided to trade it. I said is breaking out of the range. If it holds 195 on any pullback, I would look for a long. Depending on where we open, I'll look for a long through pre-market highs if it runs early. Target's 220. 220. The name might be hard, but if you fail hard and break 194, I'll look. I think you'll come in to 192.50 was my short target on the name. I'm just going to leave this here and do this. So I had a way too high of a target. I think I was looking for all-time highs on a breakout and a rip because of how strong it was. I definitely think this is a quasi miss on the trade. I made money on it because if there's what I write down and then what I trade, I called Apple long pretty much on this 2-minute candle here. I said I'm long Apple, and I sold into 197 or 197. Yeah, I actually held this pullback. and then sold up into 197, sold most of it, and ended up eventually getting stopped out of the rest of it on the break of this pivot low. I just had a hard stop set at 196, so I still ended up making money on the trade overall, but it did not go to target. This was one of the names I thought could run if the market ran. I don't regret the trade. I do think my target was a little bit high. As a note for some of this stuff, when I do take these, my initial target to sell, I will put a fib at the top of the first 2-minute bar, and I will take a fib at the bottom of the gap, and then that's usually how I'll get my first kind of target on these extended moves. So, you know, no matter what I post. So about 190, 176. I didn't actually sell here. I waited until we broke. I thought we were going to be a little bit stronger with what the Qs were doing. They were kind of going straight up, and thankfully I took profit here, so I made on it. So that was the trade there. And then on the short, actually, I want to say I was surprised. They did make us wait until PM for the sell-off. Hey, if you hung out, you made more. Like, you did a good job waiting. This one would have been the day to wait. I ended up, I had to get obviously I got a haircut from last night, and then somebody told me about some firewood and stuff, and I went and picked some up, and went to the gym, and then by the time I looked back, I was like, holy crap, it's like 4, damn, I missed the afternoon. But I said on the Apple, if you break down that 92.50 was my target. If you went short, and I think I said if you broke 4, so basically if you broke back into the top of this range, you were going down to 92.50, and I was right. So while my upside target was way too extreme, I would say my downside target was pretty good as far as 192.50 on a short. So if you were using that in your notes or anything, 190, was I right, or was I at 192.55? So I was 5 cents off. 5 cents off. I guess it's a miss. So there was that on the short side. Once it broke down, once Apple broke down, felt a bounce, get back up to the range. You basically just rode the 1 minute 21 down, 2 minute. You know, I think you only tagged once here, but you just all the way down. That was fun. Hope you guys killed it. And again, very sorry I wasn't here to call these out. I've got to start doing the afternoons. They've been a lot better. Shopify, you guys asked about this name last night too, and said it sometimes breaks out and moves with Amazon. I said in my notes for the plan on Shopify today, we talked about this name on the show last night. It already triggered the daily buy setup, so I'll look for 66.50 as a long setup. I said it might front run. I meant to say I might front run it. If it catches a bid, it needs to hold 65.50 on any pullback to want to watch. I meant for me to want to take it. If we don't run out the gate, the name isn't one I play a lot, but you should you could see a move to 67.50 to 68 for a first target. So it did hold up 66.50 out of the gate. You held the bottom of the first 2 minute candle, flagged, broke, you got your move to 67.79. So right up to that first area. All I was looking at was just looking left on the chart, and you can just see some pivots here. So just thinking if you broke out, you might get as high as 68. A safer target for me just would have been R3, but I gave it a little bit of a range there. So if you like Shopify, I don't remember who asked me off the top of it might have been Dari last night. Congrats if you traded this one and took it. You talked about it down here for a snapback. Sadly, they took most of the move away from you. You couldn't buy the breakout and the move. It just went and then went to the move. And obviously we came down, and I said on a short. So if it broke down, did I say if it broke down what I would take? No, I didn't. I did not call a short in this, but the line held up. So I did not say what would happen on a short. I don't know why I didn't. Does it make sense? Yeah, I didn't say anything on a short, so can't say that I called anything in that. Looking at Meta. And so we'll go back through these. Yeah, they were all over the place. I want to go back through these some. Well, I think what I'm going to start adding to these shows is how I would maybe the setups of the trade. So we talk about the ideas and the setups, but I think the next thing to add to it is the buy setups that take place. So, okay, this happened. Now here's your 2-minute 8, and kind of incorporating that into the evening review shows on why I bought, or when I bought, or what could have worked. I think that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, I think that's probably something I'll start here. And then talk about levels and risk reward and stuff like that. So I can start incorporating, helping you guys look at not just picking names and areas, but then also where's the buy setups, where could your stops be, where should they be, are you trying to maximize profit, what are you trying to do, what's the, all that kind of fun stuff. So I might start trying to incorporate that into some of these shows and still keep them in that shorter range, unless you guys have questions and want to talk about levels and stuff for the next day. I can try to keep the show shorter. So Meta, massive gap up. I said I'm going to look for a fade in a 318 on profit taking. After that, I would look for a bottom and go long, but I think we might need to let this one have a digestive day or two. But if you hold up for a gap, 338 would be my target, and that's probably my target going into next week. We are C. I'm doing mostly common right now. I would say I'm probably depends on the name, 80%. If I'm looking for a longer move, I do common for sure. If it's quick scalp, sometimes I'll do options, but generally speaking, I'm looking for common on some of these names, as long as I have the capital. I like to buy between 500 and 2,000 shares. So as long as I have the buying power to do that. If I don't, sometimes NVIDIA, I'll take options, because it's $500. You gotta, if you want to buy, just depends on how much of a move I'm expecting. Generally speaking, common's been easier for me, so I've just kind of switched over to common, and I've got the buying power to do it. Looking at Meta, so I basically said I think you need to give this a day. Look for 218 to come in early. That's just look at the gap, you look left. We came into 218. I shorted Meta, shorted it early, actually took profit at 220. Got stopped out on the pop, ended up re-shorting it back here. I believe we called this one out and took it down to 218. I did not hold it for the rest of the day. After I left, I sold somewhere in here, and then we had I didn't take this, but we had a pop back up and right up into the top of the range, and you came down. The idea of the whole digestive day and all that definitely kind of held there. So this one was hard. I don't think Meta was easy at all today. The idea was just basically out the open. I think I had a limit order or a market order ready to go in shorts in Meta as soon as we opened up, and I just jumped in. At a little over 1,000 shares in it, and then sold 500, and then held the rest and sold another 500. I had 500 left and got stopped out on those. So that worked. That was fine. The idea was there right at the open. I would have stopped out if it went above $25. Now we're digesting. We'll see what happens going into the rest of the week. I'll take a look at it in the morning tomorrow, but market came in decently there in the afternoon, so that definitely helped Meta, but just didn't catch a bid. Never had a 2-minute breakout, sold off. You could have just held that one in common short all day, as long as you didn't take out day highs, depending on where you got in at. Tesla was looking good on the gap up, or was looking good, meaning the night before, on the gap up. Makes it a little bit more difficult if you're near resistance. If you fail at the open, look for 267. If that holds, you could get an attempt at a breakout through 270. If we can take out 270, you get a 2 to 3 point move to the upside. I would use fibs after opening move to get levels. On a sell-off, look for 262. So basically what I'm saying there is if you break out of the top of this range, what did I say, 267? Yeah, you have resistance. We've gapped up so much. We're in a wide state in Tesla, wider state. Usually when that happens, I'm looking for a pull in back to the 200, or back to the 200, at least the 21 first, and the 200 if you don't catch a bid. The show I did with Kelly talks a lot about that. If you're unsure of what I'm talking about, go back and watch that show. In my opinion, one of the best that I've done as far as just the content for learning what to look for in the morning and stuff like that. But so, if you fell at the open, look for 267 on the pull in. We did fail at the open. It pulled into 267, which actually was just that first candle. So you basically just had that first candle once you broke out. Opening range, I didn't play the opening range in Tesla. I don't think I played the initial short either, but it never broke out. It failed. It couldn't get through 270, so it was perfect. You were right in between my two ranges, 267 and 270. If you can take out that, I thought you'd get 2 to 3 points. You didn't. And then I would use fibs to get the levels. If we really sold off, I thought you would get to 262. So you basically just sold off, bounced a little at the 21, came into the lows here at 263. We kind of bounced, went higher, and then later in the day when the market came in, you went all the way down and 262. We cut way through that. So, you know, that's more market than just levels. But, you know, even before that, you did come into the 262, so pretty decent. I didn't think we would get all the way down here, bottom of the range. I didn't know that Tesla would have that much, or I didn't think the market would come in that much, so I definitely was not predicting that. I by no means can see the future. You know, that's when I say, hey, first target's 262. If it really crashes, you're going to come into like, you know, 55 or 56, so I was not looking for that to happen, but we did end up coming in pretty hard later in the day. Tesla took out 262 easy, so another idea there for that. I guess the target eventually hit. You held up at 63, failed to break out again through 67, so that's the second time. This is one of those things that if I mark a level, or if I'm interested in a level that fails to break out and hold, that can sometimes come back and pay. Like if I have a morning level, and I think this is something I need to do to get better, and I talked about it today, afternoon trading, or once slower trading comes, is go back, look at my notes, look at what I thought pre-market, and then determine where the important levels were and wait for something to come in. So it's like, okay, I'm looking to see if Tesla, you know, wants to come back, for instance anyway, this range, because we went down, we V-bottomed, we kind of consolidated back up. All right, can we now, you know, catch a bid back into this range and go higher? You roll over, and obviously this was, I believe, news related, Bank of Japan news or something. I'm not sure exactly. I didn't look what the news was. I could probably check it now, but you had the nice, you know, looks like news that started to drive the market down, but you came down. And then once you can see that, once you fail to kind of get back in the important breakout levels, to me, then you can start looking at your lower target of that 62 or the retest of lows. So I don't know, maybe a way to look at it, maybe something I can start trying to implement and then talk about on the shows on how I'm doing that and how I can get better at trading later in the day, catching the moves or catching the opportunities to enter. Because usually I can do, you know, 5 to 10 good trades really early in the day within the first 2 hours, about 11 o'clock. And then after that, it really takes a little bit for me to, I almost have to redraw my plan and then wait for it to come in. And it's hard to go from like fast trading to slow trading and then to look for only 2 to 3 trades later in the day. Because let's be honest, it's rare that you get this all afternoon. So I missed a good afternoon today. All right, Tesla, that was the idea in that name. I might have taken one of those short, but that wasn't the money maker today. AMD. AMD, actually interesting one on this one. This was a last minute ad for me. I was a little bit sus on it, as the kids say, if you're trying to be cool, I guess. AMD has been an underperformer. If the market comes in, I like this short. You are opening at the top of a value area. So looking for it to fail and come into 110/109. And then if you break out and run, 115 is the target, with the first target around 313, meaning take some profit. So you're opening up at resistance. Where's today? Yep, here we go. So you're down here, you're opening up at resistance, which if you zoom out is just this value area high and an anchored VWAP. So my dog, you stink. I need to take her to the bath, my dog, nasty. Excuse me. So we opened up here at we did not open up here. We opened here at this value area. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong, I'm not zoomed in enough. So we're open up right here. Right at R1 at 11. I'm thinking that if you can't hold up, it's not really a value area. I guess that would be more, but just looking to fail here and not break back in, and to come in if you break down. Instead, we hold that 110 pivot. Where is my, sorry, give me a second. I need to look at my pre-market because the way I read my notes, let's see, where was I looking at? All right, so when I wrote this, no, that's pre-market. So when I wrote this, we were just right here. I wrote it when it was here, so I was looking for the possible, the move to there. So if you break out, I was like, okay, that makes sense on what I was writing. Sorry, I'm trying to go back and think what I was thinking when I wrote these notes. So if you break out at the open, look for a move to 13 and then 15. We did hold. If the market opens, I like it short. If you fail and come into 110 and 109. So basically, was looking for a short into this range. We were opening up at 111. I thought if you came in hard, it's really not the best short call, I'll be honest, just because that's such a small target that I almost don't want to give myself credit for this. It had, it did. I missed the first one. I got mad that I didn't trade this one because I was trading some other names. I was long 3 or 4 names. 3 names in short meta. I was long 2 names in short meta, so I didn't trade this one. I don't like my short call on this because of how tight it was. You would have had to go short right out the open. But if you look at the bounce on the long side, move into 313, you moved into 314, you consolidated on a higher pivot low, and then on the breakout hit 315. So as far as the breakout on the 2 levels, I don't know if you want to give credit for that or not. Again, I said earlier in the video, decide in the comments after the fact. You can comment and say how many of these names that I got right. I usually don't post this many, but today I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let me know how many you got right, and if I got one wrong, why you think that, or if you don't think that the call out was helpful. But you came in, you held the 2-minute 200, you bounced right up to 313, 313.70 on the breakout. So you hold that 200 and you bounce. That's almost always a possibility. Move my face. Almost a possibility for a long 2-minute 200. You cut right through that 5-minute 200. That's the possible buy setup there. Came in at 313, consolidated higher pivot low at 315, and then you consolidated back down into the 110s, kind of just erase what we did today. It's holding up pretty well. All in all, you're just in a range. There's not much to say about AMD. I think my levels were right. I don't know if the way I called it was helpful, if the way I typed that helped anybody get into it. But the price action was good in AMD. Me looking at it, just looking at this on this higher pivot low here into a 5-minute 21, into this higher pivot low as we bounced here is just great. Hit the 21 and flagged on the 21 and then went to 315. That's great price action, like you're saying, Joe. I didn't get it either, to be honest with you. It was lower on my priority list. NVIDIA is one that I traded a couple of times today. NVIDIA, big gap up, needs to hold 460 on a pullback. Looks like a move to 471, 475. If it sells off hard, look for 452 and then bottom bounce. So pretty simple here. I was running out of time to write down names, so that's why I kind of did this like I did. If you bounce at the open, look for 71. I had it long, this, and I think I was saying my levels at what am I doing there? At one point during the day, I don't remember what they were, but you came close to that 127, consolidated, came back in. It needs to hold 460 for a move to 471. It never came in and tested 460 until later. It just held the 2-minute open. I shorted it here, I think, and I sold, and then I got stopped out. That's what I did. I didn't mess with a lot of this. I might have caught it early, one of the moves, and then it came in. I shorted here, and we called this one short, and I sold half into here, and then I ended up selling more here because I was nervous another quarter, and I got stopped out of the rest of it up here. So I actually did options in this one, Colton. Remember you talking about the options in common? I did options in this one and ended up selling. So it came back up. Ended up, I guess you could say it did hold. I don't, this is one of those ones, it's kind of hard to tell what you do, but as you break out and you push, you failed to push lower. I think the market was doing decent at this time. You do end up coming up into, you don't quite hit 70, you don't quite hit 70, you don't quite hit 75. You come up into 73, about 74, 73.95 as your high, and then we sell off and we come back down into 57. So we didn't sell off enough to get back into any target. Nvidia held up pretty decent, I think, compared to what the market did, but this is still a pretty big drop. I mean, 74 to that's more than 10-point drop, so I guess you could say it did come in hard. Just not off at the open enough to get down to 52 and then bounce. Instead, it held up and made the move. So the way I look at it, I guess you could say it's a half win or a win, because it did hold up. If you caught it and you started taking your and you started taking it for a move into the 71s and the 75s, as long as you sold along the way, the idea was there. It wasn't the perfect call. It didn't move exactly how I wanted. I didn't think it would on the gap up, but the the idea was there. So I don't know. You guys decide on that, what you think about that call. But we came back in. It is a super hard name to short, man. It's been so strong. It's holding up so well. I really hope the market crashes soon and we just get like a massive dunk in a lot of these names. But it held up well. It came back into the top of the range here. It'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow. For sure. The market's probably going to be difficult tomorrow. So that was NVIDIA. And then the last one I did was AI. More names than I normally do. This is one we talked about on the show before. The possible breakout and measured move. If it held up to here, the name had been strong. It didn't. It punctured in and then went short. But I said in AI, I was running out of time on this one too. And I said, I posted this 1 minute before it opens. AI at overhead resistance. If we fail, you're coming to 38.50. If we break out and hold, look for 45. When I say 45, 51, 49, I must have messed up somewhere in there. But look for look for your breakout. We opened up right here. That's a 15-minute. I went long and was long. Sold some into 43. Called this one out when I went long. Held it. Sold most of it up here. Then got stopped out on this drop. You obviously sold off, and I said if you sold off, you would come in at 38.50. If you couldn't break out and hold, the idea would, you don't break out and hold, you're coming in at 38.50. We came into 37 low of this candle is 37.76. So day low at 37.76. Target hit on the short. You took it long. You could have reversed it once you kind of started putting in higher pivot lows, and it did end up coming in to that lower level. So overall idea on the name I think was decent. I took a long early and then I left before I shorted it. It's not a name that I trade a lot, but it did sell off and it's back into the bottom of this range, and that's a pretty hard reversal on the daily. So we'll see if we hold up tomorrow. You need to hold up 37 tomorrow in AI. So that was my day. Those were the things that I called out. Like I said, I'll start trying to work on incorporating some more stuff into it. Yeah, like AI and you take 1,000 shares or you take something and you're just like, ugh, and you're like, why am I trading this? It's like NVIDIA's running and these other names are running, and I'm sitting here like, I have like 1,000 shares of AI at like 40 something, and it's like I'm gonna make a point on these. It's like, what am I looking for? 2 point, and don't get me wrong, that's not bad money. But it's like I got NVIDIA running like $6. I got this other stuff happening, and I've got capital tied up in Apple and AI. It's like these two names move like a point. It's like I'm gonna catch a point in both of these names. I did, and it's like, what? This is stupid. It's like, why am I not trading Tesla? Why am I not shorting Tesla? And why am I not shorting names that move like 4 or 5 points at a time? I shouldn't think that way. I really shouldn't, because a good trade is a good trade. And all three of the ones out of the open, long AI, long Apple, and short Meta, all at the same time. I haven't been in 3 names in a while. I don't like to do that. Just trying to expand a little bit, size down, and possibly when you see other things happening, set buy stops at levels. And I had put some buy stops, kind of practicing that at breakout levels, and just to see if they work, and like, well, let's see if I trade this way, what happens. And once I get in, look at the chart, determine if I want to keep it or sell the position right away, and kind of like have my triggers already in place. Kind of working on that. It, I guess, worked today, but it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily always for me. Today, I just expected that quick pop and then probable reversal. I did not expect the entire dump, I expected us to hold up and grind, and then, you know, who knows? I did not expect the dump that happened later in the day for sure, so I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't back, but just that early pop I was fairly confident in, so I had some of those kind of buy stops set. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad that we can help. It helps me too. Like, honestly, you guys make me a lot of money. And you help me become a better trader. Like, I wouldn't have been looking at Apple or AI today if it wasn't for you guys last night. So it's not just about, I mean, like, we all help each other. You need a community, I think, to be a good trader. Whatever community it is, I don't think it matters. As long as you're good with it, you can make money. And as long as you're making money and you're listening and you're at least getting better, listening to me, or just learning what not to do, what to do, ways to help you, and you can be around other people that will kind of help you improve, make good call outs, things that you understand what they're looking at when you look at, and you can kind of take that trade or at least learn their system. I think that is key to kind of being good, because I can't look at all the names. It's like, what, can I look at 9 names at a time, 18 names at a time or something like that? It's hard to kind of process what's good and what's not, and you get information paralysis. But if I got guys that I trust, that I'm trading with, that are good traders, and they're like, I really like Microsoft, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even look at that name today. What's Microsoft doing? And I can, oh dang, that looks good. I can add that to my list, and then I can trade it. So I try to do what I can to help you guys and to better myself in the process, so I can help more. And then also, trading with you guys helps me a lot and helps me improve. Didn't ask yet, but if you guys are hanging out and you haven't left a like, I would appreciate it if you do throw up a like on the video, either now or after the fact. And if you're not subscribed, you can definitely do that. I appreciate it. Does mean a lot. Does help the channel grow. Recommends it to YouTube people. I might start making shorts, taking some time in the middle of the day to cut shorts and post them. Maybe I'll be eccentric in some of the short videos and kind of be crazy and pretend that I make a lot of money, or maybe just show I'll do P&Ls on some certain trades and stuff like that. We'll see. But yeah, you're welcome, Joe. And you got it. This game is all confidence. What up, Dari? This game is like all confidence. You have to just trust. And I might just be like crazy, but when it comes to some of this stuff, you just have to see it and you just gotta smack it. Like, you just gotta take it. If you trust what you're doing and you do it, you just gotta do it. Or you gotta get to that point. You don't have to do it, but at some point you have to have the confidence in yourself, and you gotta bet on yourself that you're gonna be able to make money, and that what you're looking at is right. Otherwise, you might as well just quit. Or don't trade. I mean, practice, get better. I wouldn't tell anybody to quit. But in the end, you got to rely on yourself and what you're looking at. And you might learn from somebody else, and you might get that confidence from them. But then at some point, it all comes back on you, and it's just up to you to kind of make that decision. So, and trust what you're seeing. Q's right back in support here. Look at that. Look at that. What a failure. I hope this is wrong. Watch tomorrow go all the way back up to 84, just because we're in that kind of stupid market. I wouldn't mind seeing this whole thing come down and this whole market fall apart. I'm looking forward to the crash if and when it happens. Not much. To be honest, it depends on where we open up. That's going to put my plan together. If you open up, let's say the Qs, if you open up at this level, make it easier. Like, let's say we open up at 75, you're either going to get like, hey, I'm going to have puts or, common short ready to go at 75 looking for a short, or I'm going to have longs ready right off the bounce for a move back into like 78. And most of these names are kind of like that with where they're sitting at. You gave up the entire bounce. You came right back into the median. So do we have an inside day, which is probably most likely, or do we follow through the sell-off and is the market spooked? So what I'm looking for is where we're going to open at, and then where we open at the ATR and whatever name you trade, the daily ATR. Look at the that movement, see where that could possibly take you, see where your moving averages are at based on where you open up at, and then that'll give me an idea of what I'm looking at. That's usually why I don't make my plans the night before. I'm kind of looking for if there's any news that came out, what's the overall market sentiment. Looking at Tesla, I mean, kind of looks weak. You've been pulling up, you pulled in hard, double bottom, tried to break out, couldn't even catch the 15-minute 200. You're at the 5, and now you're expanded on the downside, so we could get a pop. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these names retrace. I'm not saying they are, but hey, maybe we open up flat and we pop. Maybe we open up a little bit higher and we consolidate back into 66 and 62. The one I called, or the one, yeah, it was a nice short. I don't remember if I called a short in Tesla or not. I really don't remember what I do once I sit down and just start open up and looking through my trades. Journaling's important. Do it more than I do, please, if you're trying to get good at trading. But it was a great short in Tesla today. This is freaking beautiful. I am very upset I missed this afternoon. This was one of the worst ones to miss. Like, I should have been here. I'm very bummed I missed this. As soon as you start breaking this level and you're flagging here, this is a short all day. This is a moneymaker. This would have been a very big day. Very bummed that I missed this. But it's all good. I don't really care. But slightly bummed. So, like, Colton looking tomorrow, even looking left here, you've got some other support here. This 54.31 is a pretty decent level. So, you could come into $42. If you lose here, you're coming into $42. That's a pretty decent move. Your first line of resistance, like 47. So, you're going to come into somewhere around like $48 or so. And then from there, you're looking at like 42 and then 35, not tomorrow, but just, overall. So you're going to come in a decent amount if you lose this 455. And there's a good chance that these two spikes over here get ignored and we end up coming into the bottom of this range if you sell off and continue. So I'm going to be watching for follow through on the sell off. If it doesn't come, and this anchored VWAP is going to be around that 250 / 47. So be careful there, but you get this follow through to the downside, and this fib move on this breakdown is pretty decent. If you just look at it like this and you assume this, this would probably actually be my line for tomorrow. Looking for any digestion into 260 on Tesla, and then a rollover into 252 and 248 is what my notes will probably say in Tesla. Is any digestion up into 59.60 is fine. Look for that pop. If you roll over there, look for a short into 252 and 247.7. That's, the failed VWAP pinch. That's what I'd be looking for in Tesla tomorrow. That's how I draw that up if I was writing my notes right now about tomorrow. It just depends on each name. Same in Microsoft, near support. Are we going to break down? Are we going to go back up into the middle of the range? Questions pretty much the same on all these. Meta a little bit different. You're going to complete the gap down to 298. Are we going to hold up at the top of this range around this 310 level, and are we going to consolidate, test 218 or 318? Depends on what the market does. If you bounce and Meta opens around, Meta opens kind of flat, it might be choppy. We'll see. You might get a little bit of a pull into 310, 3950, and then we'll see if you can catch a move back into the highs if the market's bouncing. So that's a possibility for what I'd be looking for in Meta. Again, kind of depends on the sentiment when we wake up. Nvidia, another possible name I'd be looking at long. Remember, you came back into the top of this, you retraced, you have some support down here just below you if you really want to go down to about 56 or so. That level I said from today kind of still holds between that 52 to 56 area. If you get back in here, I would expect a bounce. Don't know if it comes. You could just cut through it. If you cut through it, you're going to come into 39. Maybe not tomorrow, but this starts rejecting. I don't know that these buyers are going to hold you up. So 45 would be your 45. Probably comes in if you sell off tomorrow in Nvidia. If we catch a bounce, this name is definitely strong. You're gonna just reverse and head back up into that 75 and I don't think you're going to break out yet. Definitely not. I do not think we're going to break out, but you're probably going to continue to build this right side in here, so you could just play a scalp bounce back up into 68. So if you're just asking me what am I looking for, I'll just be picking the names that are closest to what I think is probable. Looking to see if we're opening flat near support, if we gapped up a little in the middle, and I'll just start trying to put together like an idea of what the market could be doing. Apple, I'm probably not going to trade Apple tomorrow, to be honest with you. Amazon filled that gap. 332. I looked at that and thought about saying long in the 332 and then short, but yeah, not going to do anything with that name, I don't think. Netflix. Oh, nice. I did not watch this one today. You sold off, you flagged, and you sold off. 412. A lot of support around here in Netflix. You can see it bounce in this name tomorrow. If you follow through, you're going to test 400. 409 and then 400. I don't. That's getting fairly extended. It's got to have some buyers come in at some point. Apple Pudo. I mean, I scalped Apple too. I think I was in that right. Are you asking me to look at Apple, or are you just talking Apple? You just saying it? Gator, Clark Kent. They're blue light. Blue light. I'll take it as a compliment. I'm feeling bullish. They're oh, you're going over your trade. They're blue light glasses. I go to bed as soon as this show's done. I'm about to head to bed, and when I do that, if I'm looking at the screen without them, sometimes it wakes me up. So I wear the blue light glasses to kind of help me sleep when I'm done talking here, so my eyes aren't strained. Obviously, I'm not trying to look. I got these big, like serial killer Dahmer glasses. I'm not trying to look cool. So Colton, that's kind of what I'm looking for, and we'll just see what names are near those levels. I'll take those levels into account first thing in the morning, and then I'll, kind of come up with a plan from there. ENPH Echo November Papa Hotel. You like it for a short or a long? You're way extended on the 15-minute. You're extended on the 5-minute. But you're near some support. If you're looking for a bounce, or you're looking for it to cut down to 157. Whew. I would be careful at EMPH around 165. It's kind of the same thing, the market near a level. You broke out here. This is your spring. Not really much of a spring, but your bottom around 55. This is where you started putting in a higher pivot low. You came in. I agree with you. If it comes down and you're looking for a crush, it get crushed on earnings. Got crushed on earnings. I didn't even look at it. Let's see. Oh, dang. Never mind. I'm just looking at a chart. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Forget me, dude. Screw me. Teach me for not paying attention to earnings before I come on and do a show. Yeah, if it gets crushed, I mean, there you go. We'll see where we open up, but support down around 10 bucks or something. Earnings are hard, just like Meta. Even on the sell-offs, it doesn't mean it's going to go just down, so be careful. 225, a lot of volume there, so. But yeah, it could definitely. That's interesting. I might have to watch that one. I did not watch that. So I don't have anything else, guys, unless you guys have anything. I kind of went over what I looked at today, took some longs, flipped over, took some shorts. I don't think I have anything else to. Tupperware brands. $1, man. What in the world is this thing? I've never looked at this chart. How do you go from $100 to $1? Holy crap. 97 all-time lows. And a pop in between. Dang, 2020, this, man. Whew. What's this? Or is there like buyout dues on the name or something? That's a lot of volume. Or is that just support being like, we are not going to go lower? What's the low on this thing? 61 cents from $100. See, when people are like, oh, you could take something and you could just hold it forever and it's always going to make money. Bull crap, son. Bull crap. You buy this here, you're like, I'm out. $10 to $100, obviously. And then all the way down. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, BBBY. It's like, oh, Bed Bath & Beyond. And then boom, nothing. That's so funny. Not really, but I understand that people get hurt and all that other kind of stuff. But now you're like, what, 2.8 cents? Yeah. It'll come back. No. Ain't how that works. Well, guys, I appreciate it, Colton. Thanks for the support. And, all the same, guys, if you like the stuff, comment. Let me know how you think I did on the calls today. I think that's a good way. I don't want to judge myself. You guys can let me know if I missed it, if I blew it, if there's, I called what I saw. Hopefully that gave y'all some confidence. If you are watching, you want to leave a like, appreciate it. All that other kind of fun stuff. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to go get some sleep, try to rest. My kids have been waking me up 3 or 4 times a night, so hopefully I can get a little bit of sleep. Good night. I will see y'all in the morning, bright and early, to finish the week off. Let's see if we can finish strong. I think it's been a pretty decent week. Happy with it, so hope you guys are too. I will see you all tomorrow.